Hello and welcome to another EG Recap. Now, yesterday I made the mistake of assuming that since I'm the only one who does EG Recaps, if you guys saw that in the thumbnail and clicked on it, you would know who I was. But you rightly pointed out in the comments that new viewers, who I have to assume are coming every episode, have no idea what's going on. And so I should introduce myself every single time, in which case, hello, I'm Jack Lindsay, pleased to meet you. I enjoy hot tea and long walks, well, just about anywhere. I'm always walking, really. The bottoms of my shoes are falling off. Please send help. And I've got 3 stories for you today. Up first, KFC is making a dating game. Oh yes. Then the Discovery Tour is releasing for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And finally, Shenmue 3 refunds will begin soon. Also, before we jump right into the news, yes, it sucks that I have not been able to play any games for over a year. That is, trust me, I wish that were not the case. But I think it's a common misconception that being a games journalist, or being qualified to be a games journalist, means that you play games a lot. Now, up until about a year ago, I did play games all the time. And if you really want to help me get back to that, show up for when I stream gameplay. If I can integrate it as part of my work, I can start playing games again. But on to the news. Our first story for the day, which I bet you didn't believe me earlier, KFC is actually making a real dating game. Mr. Krasny writes, I'm not going to beat around the bush here, this is just bizarre. Out of nowhere, a new listing appeared on Steam. The game is being developed by PsyOp and published by KFC. I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator, is releasing in 13 days, and no one knows what to do anymore. The game appears to be surprisingly expansive. There are 9 characters available to romance, including the one and only Colonel Sanders, a dog who is also your culinary school professor, and dating sim classics like your childhood best friend named Miriam and your arch rival Aeshley? A-E-S-H Lee? There are also people like Van Van, who is absolutely not a JoJo reference. Characters aside, the game touts cooking battles, battle battles, and the ability to earn a degree from a fictional culinary school. There are also references to the famous secret recipe for KFC's fried chicken, a secret ending, and much more. No one is sure as to how extensive the content will be, with the Steam page declaring multiple hours of playable content amongst its many features. The developers, PsyOp, have not released many other games. What they do is, quote, blur the lines between advertising and entertainment. They have released games on Steam in the past, which include Kismet, a VR-supported virtual fortune teller, and Camp W, a visual novel about a young witch who has crossed over into the human world. I Love You, Colonel Sanders is set to launch on September 24th, about 13 days from now. There is no price listed on the page, but the search bar labels it as free, so you don't have to pay a penny to experience the wildest advertisement for fried chicken anyone has ever seen. You know what's funny to me about this? Is that the real Colonel Sanders hated KFC restaurants. He sold the company in 1964, but after that he'd go around the country visiting KFCs and just trashing the quality of their food. He said the gravy was horrible and the extra crispy recipe was nothing more than a damn fried dough ball stuck on some chicken. In several interviews, including a 1970 New Yorker article, he was so upset by the quality of the food that he told reporters the gravy ain't fit for my dogs. And he was so outspoken about the changes KFC made to his original recipe that KFC ended up suing him for libel in 1978, but the suit got thrown out. I'll include an article in the description where you guys can read more of this, but there's a certain irony to this game. It's as if they're spitting on his grave. Like they're saying, oh, you don't like what we did with your chicken? Well, now you're an anime husbando, and you think our gravy isn't fit for your dogs? Well, now we're putting a dog in the role of culinary instructor in your restaurants. Oh, what a world. Our next story, by Mr. Irwin. Discovery Tour releasing today for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has a new release today in the form of a Discovery Tour mode. Making a return from Assassin's Creed Origin, Discovery Tour allows players to experience the map without any conflict. No sneaking, no epic battles, just getting around and soaking it all in. The real draw of Discovery Tour mode, though, are the different tours you can participate in with guides that will fill you in about different aspects of the history and culture of Greece. Well, that's cool. Discovery Tour aims to leave no stone unturned, talking about the grandiose aspects of Greece's elite to the day-to-day lives of those at the bottom of societal ladders. The different cities, the positives and negatives of conquest. They even take the time to delve into the many myths of Greece. Oh, I like it. After you've completed these tours, players will be brought to task, and if they succeed when the game tests how much knowledge they've retained, they can earn in-game rewards. It's a neat little extra, sure, but it also brings about reminders of the way Ubisoft handled Assassin's Creed Origins Discovery Tour mode, where some aspects of the history had been changed. It's normal for these changes to be made in the main gameplay to help suit some aspects of the storyline, which rides a line between historical fantasy and sci-fi over its long line of the game. However, in Assassin's Creed Origin, there were some changes made to historical aspects not for gameplay's sake, but for inclusion. Discovery Tour and Origins would also see several statues censored with very out-of-place seashells. Oh, Lord. Oh, he's got a video here where we can see some of these alterations for the sake of inclusion.
Here, both girls and boys are shown attending a class given by one of the rhetoricians of the era. The team made the choice to show both genders attending class within the context of the game world. Even though it is historically inaccurate,
oh, come on.
It is not necessary to prioritize historical
sexism over inclusive gameplay. How is it the gameplay is you're literally just walking around and watching? How is it non-inclusive if what you're looking at doesn't you're just rewriting history at that point? While Ubisoft did acknowledge this during the course of the Origins version of Discovery Tour, it rubbed many the wrong way that the changes in the main game were not corrected for a mode that was supposed to be all about historical accuracy. Right. It led to a fair amount of skepticism on just how accurate the Discovery Tour mode would be for Odyssey. The debacle with Origins left a community divided on what was otherwise a fairly well-received Assassin's Creed game. Oh, left a community divided is a hyperlink. Let's check that out. It's a Reddit post on the Assassin's Creed subreddit. Ubisoft modifies history with Discovery Tour. Is this okay? Let's see, the top comment at 101 points. I'm a history major and I'm tired of this kind of stuff. Even if history is offensive at times, it teaches us how to be better. This change disappointed me a little. Let's see, I agree, it's disappointing. Ubisoft is pandering to the politics of the day. I'm surprised to see comments like this on Reddit. Silly decision, doesn't add to the gameplay, give me historical accuracy. Empty gesture, literally solves nothing. Right. Terrible, teaching history is all about showing where we've come from and how we got to where we are now, stuff like this, or removing Huck Finn from curriculum is akin to pretending Hitler never existed. No, wait, here are the ones defending it. There's the Reddit I know. You know what, I'm just going to include the link to this thread in the description below and you guys can check it out. Even just me covering this much of the story is going to have a tiny subsection of people shrieking that this isn't what they paid for. Back to the article. If they maintain that level of transparency on changes or adjust things so that they're accurate in the discovery mode, there may not be backlash this time around. All the same, if you want to learn about ancient Greece, the better place to do so would be a history book or a museum. Yeah, until they change those. But if you want to unlock some new in-game extras or just wander the landscape for some awesome environmental screenshots, Discovery Tour has got you covered. Yeah, until it's decided that mountains aren't inclusive enough. I mean, you can't climb a mountain in a wheelchair. Come to think of it, I don't think the ancient Greeks had handicap-accessible ramps anywhere in their cities. Might as well alter out that historical ableism. On to the third story. Mr. Irwin tells us that Shenmue 3 refunds begin soon. Shenmue 3 is taking quite a tumble, and the game isn't even out yet. It was an often requested third entry into a very niche series, which finally came to life through the help of crowdfunding via Kickstarter and will soon be coming home on PlayStation 4 and PC. But many PC players aren't happy with YSNet's decision to take the game to the Epic Store instead of Steam, and the company found themselves as one of several sparks that ignited in the PC's very own version of Platform Wars. Demands for refunds from Kickstarter backers were swift, as when they contributed to the project, they were under the impression that there would be a Steam release of Shenmue 3. YSNet revealed that they would issue refunds in the future to those unpleased with the decision, with Epic CEO Tim Sweeney offering to cover any losses they sustained from these refunds. Yeah, eventually they did. At first they sent out a bunch of letters like, we're not giving out any refunds. Okay, thanks, bye. The refunds are finally expected to begin soon with YSNet's latest post on the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter page. We've got that linked in the article. The announcement also covers PS4 region change requests and a survey necessary for all backers of the game to complete for their desired changes. You can find the most important bits of the announcement below. Let's read them together. The survey period is planned to be up to 2 weeks long. Survey period details will be announced in the survey open update. Changes to rewards will not be available after surveys close, so please be sure to respond within the survey period. Address changes may be made up until shipping begins. Refunds will be honored for backers who had selected a PC version and are not satisfied with the proposed reward options. That's very vague. That's very careful wording. Refund requests will be accepted only through the backer survey during the survey period. Processing details will be announced at the start of the survey period. Refund processing timing may vary depending on payment service and transaction status. It may take up to 20 business days to 3 months from the time the refund request is made until the refund transaction is completed. We promise to proceed with refund request processing promptly and reliably. However, due to the fact that the campaign is now 4 years on, along with the complexity of the transactions and payment service system arrangements, we ask for your understanding that processing times may vary depending on individual transaction circumstances. The survey period is expected to begin mid-September, which is just around the corner, and if you're seeking a refund, the request must be made in that period. Are you a backer of Shenmue 3? Has YSNet's decision to go to the Epic Games Store made you desire a refund? Be sure to let us know in the comments below, says Mr. Irwin. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there are several Shenmue 3 backers in the audience. I have no doubt that some of you have ordered one of these refunds. And that about does it for today's EG Recap. I've got a windscreen coming for this mic in the mail, so I should be able to eke out just a little bit more delicious sound quality soon. See, that probably sounded horrible, but with the windscreen, I can do that all day. So be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Pour that collective water on the tender little sapling that is Exclusively Games' YouTube channel. Watch it grow into a towering oak. I'll be back at you tomorrow with another EG Recap, and I'll be sure to tell you who I am. Until next time.